Hi and welcome everyone. This is the Hobo Prepper and I am Friar Tuck. So I'm doing this a little bit in advance today. I'm gonna schedule this for tomorrow. But what I want to talk about is progress, reevaluating my situation, and I've had some things that kind of happened that kind of turned me around. So I started talking to some of the influencers within the community and being like, okay, look, man, this is what needs to be done. you know, do you like getting moved around and all this other stuff? No? Okay, well, we need to form some sort of, have to have some sort of unity, whether it be through governance or whatever, to be able to push back. You know, any way you can help me with that. Oh, dude, nobody wants to do that. I'm like, what do you mean? And this is the same conversation I have with a couple others as well. It's because people are more interested in getting high and more interested in other things and they'll deal with it as long as they can keep doing their thing. And it's like, well, why is that? That's something that baffles me, but I'm not in that lifestyle. Okay. So it's never really been my thing. So I don't really understand it. However, I think it's kind of sad, but, and so I asked some people, I said, should I stay and fight on my own, or should I just let it be and move on? Well, most everybody told me, just move on. It's a losing battle. Don't worry about it. But at the other end of the spectrum, one thing that really, really gets to me, and this is more of a heart-to-heart with you guys, kind of like an inside thought. Okay, so as an inside thought, I'm sharing it with you guys. But sorry, my coat keeps falling off. It was like 39 degrees last night, and then it's like 70 degrees today. So it's either too hot or too cold. But anyways, so everybody said just move on. It's a losing battle. There's no point. It's like they're trying to convince you to give up on them because they gave up on themselves. And like I always tell Puckett, or Rumpelstiltskin now, he asked me for a name. He says, hey, what's an alias I can go by? And because you can't give it to yourself, somebody else has to give it to you. And so he fits the build for Rumpelstiltskin. So if you hear me reference Rumpelstiltskin, that's Puckett. If you guys know who Puckett is, he's my buddy. A quasi buddy, but he's still my buddy. Okay. So anyways, it's everybody, like I tell Rumpel, is that at the end of the day, even though you're not rooting for yourself, I'm rooting for you. I'll believe in you before you believe in yourself. Okay? Because at this stage of the game, you have to believe in people before they can believe in themselves. Because they've been run into the ground through society, through drugs, through addiction, through other means. And it's seriously, it's something that it's kind of hard to come back from. So a story about me, when I left Florida probably about almost 15 years ago, after my old man and I had our tiff, one of the things that I ended up doing was I made it all the way to Skid Row. And I was going to hunker down there for the winter, go up into Oregon, and go live out in the woods because there's BLM land, plenty of open forest. I figured I'd be fine. Well, the thing is I ended up getting stuck there, which is part of the reason why when Puckett said he was stuck, I'm like, here, let me come help you get out. But he doesn't want to get out. He just wants to complain about it. And like I keep telling him, I believe in him even when he doesn't believe in himself. But I went 45 days without a shower. Do you understand how hard it is? I mean, okay, so you got to realize that when it comes to mental health, there are 7 activities of daily living. Take a shower, brush your teeth, are you eating? Are you sleeping? Are you able to be productive? There's 7 of them, okay? And this is kind of how I keep my mental health in order, okay? And when you're not able to take a shower for 45 days because of just the way it is. I mean, it wasn't until like after I got in a shower, like maybe a week or two, some guy down at the local gym says, if you want a free shower, come on down and get a free shower. It's like, Jesus Christ, I wish I would have known that before. So I went 45 days without it, and it took until probably a month or two. It took me like 3 or 4 years to get to a point where I could take a shower at least every other day, if not every third day. Because, I mean, it becomes a struggle. And these are the struggles that the homeless have that nobody really understands, nobody really knows. So, these are things that you as an individual should be thoughtful of when interacting with the homeless. So these people, they've been ran down, that they have no faith in themselves. They've lost their will to fight. They become docile. And, part of the homeless industrial complex is that in order to bring them that way, these people had to go to jail for multiple things. Instead of realizing that there was a bigger underlying problem, they would rather just penalize you for it and make you pay a price that you'll never be able to repay. And so now you're forever indebted into them because, they need the money. Again, for every crime, there's a penal sum attached to it. And that's all the cost it goes for the upkeep of the prisoner. So if you actually want to save costs within our system, one of the best ways that you can do it is figure out other ways to offset costs. Okay? And offsetting costs means that if you're dealing with somebody in a drug addiction, and you know that these drug rehab places have a 95% failure rate, why would you keep funding them and giving them astronomical amounts of money to have a 5% success rate? It kind of goes down at the core level. For a person to actually get clean, they have to want to get clean. They have to have the desire, and then they have to have the support structure. But the thing is they have the support structure and it's being forced on them without actually having an opportunity to have it be their own desire. Nobody else makes them, they do it to get out of going to jail, to not pay a fine or whatever it is that they may be dealing with on one hand, but on the other hand, there's no real help that's happening. So at a certain point, you've got to bring these people, whether it's just being there to kind of give them the emotional support and the reassurance that they should have had to begin with, that would have probably prevented this. Because I'm telling you, the thing that keeps me from, picking up some of this stuff, because every once in a while I'll hit my spiral of depression, it's partly you guys and partly the friends I have. And I don't want to tarnish myself, just for a quick high. I know that, just to take away the pain. And when you have no support structure whatsoever, no emotional support structure, it becomes very, very hard to be able to gain the will and the desire yourself to get clean. Okay? So, I know I've rambled about that, but I want to talk about something good that actually happened out of this. So, not only has Mr. DeCarmine agreed to an interview with me, it will be on March 6th, which is a Monday, and I will get to interview him. And also, I met a new subscriber today, she was referred to my channel through people at Grace Marketplace, because as time goes along, I know I'm gonna in some ways I'm YouTube famous, but I'm not really famous at all. Okay, but the lady actually, she ended up telling me that she writes grants, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, here's an idea. Here's an ability for me to pitch an idea, and why I think it works, especially considering she's watched some of my videos, and she thinks that I have a good head on my shoulders. So I pitched her a couple of ideas. One, I told her it costs about $700 to $1,000 per person. You want to start with like 10 people, and you want to get them the appropriate gear, and then start giving them training and education on how to maintain their gear. That way you have something, you have something that we can actually call home, because quite frankly, my tent is my sanctuary. Okay, and not having that tent, not being able to sleep inside my tent, kind of makes me a little anxious at night. Okay, and so for me, I have that sanctuary. And then also, as part of that program is that there needs to be some liaison with the police department, where from like as soon as the sun starts to go down, then people can pitch their tent, and as soon as the sun comes up, people need to start picking up their tent. And I mean, it gives everybody a happy medium. Okay, and that's something that I think should work. And I also talked about how the mental health industry is not really there to help, and they're there to prescribe pills, and it's doing more harm than good, and nobody's getting any real help. So maybe even trying to fund some sort of alternative program that deals with mental health would be something good. So if they're going to put money towards the homeless, at least I gave her a couple of ideas that will actually benefit us out here, and may start changing the tide. Because something like the tent thing, because you get a tent, a sleeping bag, a sleeping pad, cooking utensils, water filtration, and a 75-liter backpack, and you'd be taught how to maintain your gear and keep it up. And that's why I said just to be able to have the basic gear that I have, it would be it'd be good. So if you want to help the channel, you can like, subscribe, share, or you can go down in the description. There are some affiliate links, tip jar, and my Patreon link. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.